Welcome to This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Brian Nail, your local experts on all things real estate in Middle Tennessee. Listen in as they discuss the current state of the market, the latest trends, and have a little fun while doing it. We do want to say the opinions voiced on this podcast are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individuals. All right, y'all, welcome back to another week of This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and special guest, Brad Hopkins. Woo!
Spirit fingers.
The studio audience is losing their mind.
Yeah. Jazz hands. Whatever.
All around.
Yeah. I was going to make some comment about how Brian looks a little bit different. And I got to tell you guys something. I'm that guy that applies peer pressure. So a lot of my friends that have more hair than I do, but it's starting to thin a little bit. So I'm the guy that walks in the room and I'm like, just give it up, dude. Just give it up. Just go ahead and come on.
Well, maybe that's what we were talking about off mic, the accountability. Maybe that's like our bet. Like if we have like if you don't do this, you got to shave your head, and if you don't do your part, then you have to grow yours out. Like
That is good.
Now we're talking about accountability. Good. Like so, that would be.
I got to tell y'all something funny. It's interesting. Last night I was having a conversation with my daughter. She's 13, and she was like, well, Dad, what would it look like if you grew your hair out? And I said, do you know who Friar Tuck is? I would look like Friar Tuck. I have no hair on top and lots of hair on the bottom. She goes, who's Friar Tuck? And I'm like, I've failed. So anyway, that's
so now we're going back to watch Robin Hood.
Yeah. Or perhaps Gallagher. Do you guys remember Gallagher? I could grow it out long enough to look like Gallagher. Yeah. The Sledge-O-Matic.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, that would be a pretty good accountability thing for both of us. We had to make that. So
the problem is I have more to lose there because you shave your head, you're going to look great. I grow my hair out, I am not at all.
Yeah, but you got to understand my whole reason for I answer to Chrissy, so like it would be shaved. If that's what she wanted.
We just got to convince her to let you try it. It'll grow. I mean, it's not that long. It'll grow back quick, Chrissy, and I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. Yeah. You put a little lotion on there. She starts rubbing your head a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
it's over. You'll never grow hair again.
Is I just do what I'm told. So I
love it. All right, special guest Brad Hopkins, Exit Realty. We're at the same office now. Brad is the reason that I jumped over to Exit. Several reasons, but he's the main one. He's been a friend of the show, been on the show several times. Super smart dude. Chrissy, he is actually a super smart guy. So she probably knows that, but I just got to reinforce
I didn't
that
get her
for
with
you.
My looks and my stunning haircut.
That's truth. Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. He's got a great personality, y'all.
Yeah. It's a hell of a salesman. If you ever want, that's what I tell everybody. She's my walking resume.
That is hilarious.
For those that don't know her, she is significantly better looking than somebody that should be married to me. But that's all right. I know it.
No argument.
Yeah, no argument. Nobody ever does. I say that often, hoping that somebody will be like
fishing for a compliment.
Yeah, like no, you're selling yourself short. Never once. And most of the people are like, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, you way outkicked your coverage, bro. Yeah. I feel the same way for myself. So, anyhow, Brian's off doing. What is Brian doing today?
He's in Knoxville for future mortgage people, I think.
Oh, okay.
Some kind of something. So anyway, shout out to Brian out there in K-Town. So we're going to talk about some stuff, and I challenged Brad this morning. I said, let's do something fun and come up with a tough question for the other person. So he has no idea what I have. I have no idea what he has. It's going to be pretty fun.
We're going to do it live. So I've got a couple. I was going to let you go first because this is your show, and I want you to set the bar for what the questions are going to look like. So,
interesting.
Yeah. All right. I just want to make it fair.
Trent, why don't we do one question, and then we'll do This Is Real, and then we'll do the second question.
Snap.
Does that work?
Yes, but...
That'll work.
Okay.
Yep, you can do it. All right, here we go. So as far as stuff that's going on in the market right now, just kind of a lot of the same that we've been talking about. I actually had an appraisal come in short on a new construction house. So that's not been a thing for a while. I mean, it can be. But this one, I mean, it was pretty significant. So I feel like we're starting to see a little bit of a retraction, very slight on pricing, which is interesting because, people have been talking about rates, and rates been up, 3 years now, I guess.
Right.
And prices have pretty much stayed the same and actually kind of ticked up a little bit for a while. And now I think we're starting to see that pull back. What are your thoughts on that?
On the price retraction, I think you're seeing it a little bit.
A little, yeah.
I mean, just very little. And so I think you're seeing it, I think you said this to me years ago, and I think it's held true, is that, the townhouses are the leading indicator. When you start seeing it there, then and I've seen it there for a little while on like townhouses. So now you're starting to see it.
There's inventory buildup. Yeah. Smyrna had 78 active townhouses.
Yeah.
When I pulled it a week and a half ago.
I've got one.
That's crazy,
it's
y'all.
a small community. I mean, we're talking 35 units, maybe, if that, and there's 4 for sale. Like in that one, and it's like everybody's starts racing to the bottom. Once that first person cuts price, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's going to be like.
But then when prices start going up, those are the first ones to go up a lot of times as well. Well, because it's still the cheapest option.
Right. And it's where the first time buyers can still get in and that sort of thing. So I am seeing a little bit of it, though. And I'm not too shocked that you see it in new construction, because I think that they've got still kept a lot of markup in there. And they've been doing such a good job of keeping their pricing up with incentives.
That's it.
And I think the lenders are kind of like, yeah, that's not the real value anymore, because you're really not getting that for your house. You're giving it all back in incentives just to keep your purchase price up. And I think that, banks and appraisers have gotten onto that game.
Yeah, 100%. And we really started seeing that. I mean, gosh, the incentives really hit the market on new construction probably 2, even 3 years ago. I mean, basically, as soon as those rates kind of flipped, we started seeing, we'll throw in a fridge, we'll throw in blinds, we'll throw in closing costs, we'll buy your rate down, whatever.
But then it just keeps going up. I've got a existing home listed, and then the new construction version of that same home is going, and they've got $30,000 worth of incentives. Now mine has $30,000 worth of upgrades in it, and we're in the same price range. So they'll spend that $30,000 to get, and then some, by the time.
But that's not always the case. But I mean, if you squeaked into that neighborhood and bought bottom of the, like the least number of upgrades on your house, you could have a little bit of a fight on your hands.
Yeah, you could be upside down for sure if somebody really wanted to slide into that. So,
Interesting. Well, I'm glad we're seeing kind of the same thing. On that note, there's a perfect segue. So here you're going to get the first question. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. It's really more of a scenario.
Okay.
So I've got this is the question.
Okay.
If you're not, it's long. Okay. Here we go. All right. So I want you to envision a family that you helped buy and sell. So they had a house. They're moving up in 2022.
Yep.
Okay. Sold a house, bought a house, 2022. They didn't exactly love the house, but they saw interest rates starting to creep up, so they had a little sense of urgency, and they kind of settled a little bit on this house. They liked it, but they didn't love it.
It's common,
right? Yep,
for that
very
time.
common. Exactly. Well, now one of them has lost their job, 2-income family. One has lost their job, and they can't afford the payments anymore. Okay. And last year they took out a second mortgage on the house because they saw that there was going to be some, storm clouds on the horizon, right? And so they have a second mortgage on the house. So we're eating into some equity, right? The house is overall in pretty good shape. It's lived in, so could use a paint job, probably could use some carpet. The systems are old. Okay. So we have a looming, big problem there.
Yeah.
And the comps are showing that they're gonna just barely break even. You've got about a $10,000 or so margin right there. They're going to just barely break even, but it is entirely possible. There are scenarios where it flips upside down, right? And their savings account is currently $4,000. Okay. Credit's actually decent, but they can't afford to make the next payment. Okay. And this is when they call you.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Panic has set in, as you can imagine. Now, what are you going to do?
Now, what am I going to do?
What's the advice?
So you're saying that they're going to be upside down when they like if they come down that $10,000, they're going to be upside down and not be able to pay.
They've got about 10 grand to play with.
About 10 grand to play with. Okay. Wow.
And I'll give you, I'll soften it just a little bit for you. Okay. In your net proceeds, when you did the net proceeds with them, you count that 10,000 includes that you've reduced the price to where you think it will actually sell. And there's a concession in there, maybe not a full concession for closing costs, but there is a concession for closing cost and realtor commissions. So it legitimately, they may be a $10,000 buffer there.
I mean, in all honesty, I'm going to have if they're in that situation, we're going to have the hard conversation about starting like at the below or at their buffer zone, right? Because we're at a point, there is a thing happening in the market right now where the days on market have crept up to, over 2 months. But the reality is that is the median of two completely separate worlds, right? Like we are in a world of you're either at 80, 90, 100 days or you're at 14. And there's not just a whole lot in that 60-day window. And in their case, they can't even make it to the 60-day window. So they can't take a chance on overpricing, right? And even if they took some sort of hit on this, it's going to be in their advantage to find themselves behind on payments, foreclosures, and then still having to come around and cut that price because they sank to the bottom of the proverbial pond, right? We've all heard that reference to the real estate pond. Water comes in, fresh water stays across the top, bad stuff falls to the bottom, and it stays there, right? So you gotta stay at the top of the pond. I was having a same conversation with a seller of mine, which actually my in-laws, full disclosure, and their house sat on the market for a little while because they weren't in a hurry and they wanted premium dollar. And they're like, well, our neighbors just put theirs. They closed back in July, but they're like, our neighbors just sold theirs in a day. Is that market picking up? And I went and looked, and I'm like, no, they priced 30 grand under their closest competitor. They just wanted to sell. And I'm like, everybody's goals are different. So, but these folks' goal in their situation is going to have to be to get out in the soonest way possible. And that sounds like in that moment, that might be a not the best thing financially, but the consequences of making the wrong decision are so much worse financially than losing 5 or 10 grand by coming a little bit underpriced right now, because the downside of staying on the market too long, and in their particular case, the risk of foreclosure.
Because their credit's pretty decent.
Right. Like just take the hit. It sucks. Like it's going to be hard advice, and they may not like it. And at the end of the day, I'm going to do what they want me to do, and I'll lay out what that other scenario looks like and what the risks are. But to me, my advice would be take the hit, go a little bit under what you think it needs to be, and
try to get it done.
Get it done, because there's such a gulf between getting it sold in that first week and then where it slides off into that abyss. Like there's not a great way in RealTracs to search it, but I would love to see how many actually closed. Like, even though we talk about that average being 2 months, I'd love to see how many actually do, because I feel like it's a small number. I feel like it's either 100 or 10, right? It's not 50. And so, I don't know. That would be my advice.
All right. Man, you handled that like a pro. Well done.
Is that what you expected? Answer your own question before I ask mine.
I think everything you said is spot on. I would probably go ahead and throw in, and this is part of my problem, is that I over prepare sometimes, right? And sometimes brain dump a little bit. There is a scenario on what we laid out where somebody might be in trouble, and I don't go directly to foreclosure. I think we're at a point in our market where that's still fairly long ways off for most scenarios, right? Banks don't want to be the ones that start that. Yeah. Right. But short sales are there, and there's not a lot of them out there. There's not a lot of them being worked. I worked one 3 years ago, and it took me by surprise when they laid out their situation, and I'm like, holy crap, this is a short sale.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those kind of perfect storms, kind of what I put on there. And we did it, and it was the right decision. It minimized the damage to them. It got them out of a scenario where they couldn't fix it on their own.
Right.
And like I said, it was just kind of a perfect storm situation. So we would have that conversation, because not doing what you said, not taking your advice, 3-4 months from now, when they are behind, they're a candidate for a short sale at that point.
Right.
And so, do we want to go down that road and try, or like you said, do we want to take the hit now? And the reality is, if you can cover closing costs and you can cover commissions, you're not upside down in the house. It's just that your equity's been eaten up by the expense of selling the house.
Right.
You have equity.
Right. And most people still do, right? Like there is a small window of people that bought
at exactly the wrong time. And need to sell at exactly the wrong time.
Yeah, and that's a pretty rare group of people. I mean, like I put myself in that group of people that bought in exactly the wrong time, but it was just didn't have a choice. Like, and that's kind of where people, And I think it's very important that we pepper this conversation with, there's not really the wrong time to buy real estate if it's the right time for your family dynamic and your family situation. Right.
Now, can you always time the market? The answer to that is a resounding no. Yeah. You cannot. So when it's the right time for you to buy is the right time for you to buy. But that sometimes,
in hindsight,
as it evolves, that carries with it some, okay, now that this has happened, here's the right way to proceed. Can you hold on for another year or two, those kinds of things. And we know that the market is cyclical. Yeah. We know that if there's downturns and prices sliding off and stuff like that, that guess what's going to happen? There's never been a 5-year span ever in the history of the United States where real estate lost money in take any date and go 5 years out. There's never been a 5-year span where we've lost money. Never. Great Depression, the Great Recession. Yep. It's never happened. So not to say that it can't, but it never has.
Yeah.
Right. So can you hold on for another year?
Right.
Right. Or two or whatever. Yeah. Right. That's always going to be the question. Or how do we mitigate the damage right now?
Right now. And I think, sometimes too, I think people get a little overwhelmed and don't know all there are ways out that you want to make sure you talk them through before, there may be a way for you to stay in this. Like you just may have to bite the bullet and ask the help that you need, kind of thing. Like
all of that needs to be on the table.
All of it needs to be on the table.
Yeah. And sometimes people just need to be told this is a dire situation. Like you're in a worse situation than you think you are.
Yeah.
Ostrich, you need to pull your head out of the sand.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just that conversation. Oh, okay. Yeah, we actually are. I didn't realize we were in a bad spot. Well, you avoided the fact that you're in a bad spot.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Right. So I don't mind having those conversations.
I mean, sometimes you just have to, right? Like it's the name of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I would rather lose a deal having had that conversation because they were seeking the warm and fuzzy than to not have that conversation.
Right. Well, because it's just going to drag you down anyway. That was almost going to be one of my questions, or when I was kind of weighing different questions, but when your seller is so far off on price, like how far off do you have to be before you walk away? Like what are your, because that's always a tough one because, no big secret, we have to have commissions to live off of, and when you have one staring you in the face, it's hard to walk away from. But sometimes, like you just
if it's not attainable,
right?
Is it really a commission?
No? And so that's kind of my point. Is like how far, what conditions do you set? That sort of thing. Like because I always go with the mindset of like, I work for you. I'll try anything you want for a short period of time, but we have to be in agreement when we get to, a certain period, we've got to adapt. And
that's right.
But now I'm even trying to walk away from that just because of what I said about that window of time. Like
you're really not doing them a favor.
You're not doing them a favor.
No.
You just have to have that hard conversation. And if they want to go somewhere else, let them, because you're the one they're going to be mad at when the house is on the market for 90 days.
They're going to talk bad about and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Trent, did you find one for us?
Yeah, I got one.
All right. Favorite part of the day right here.
What
on
did Brad
the screen.
do? Was that yours?
Huh? That was Brad's question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brad's going to ask me after this one.
Oh, I got you.
Oh no.
But it's real. This is real. It's a real photo.
Okay.
Is it in a motel or is it in a bus?
So is this what we do? Is this like real bad listing pictures?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
So unpopular opinion amongst some realtors, but There are listings that I don't do pictures of.
Okay.
There are times where the pictures hurt enough, and the price sometimes speaks for itself, right? And then I put in the comments, hey, this place needs a total rehab.
Yeah.
Right. And saying that, but not necessarily showing that, a lot of times will attract the people that I want to come look at the house.
Yeah.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, that does. That does. I've never had one in that situation, so I can't. Say
I list everything, bro.
Hey,
I'm not bougie like you are. I don't have hair, remember?
Hey, it's not for a lack of trying. I'll list everything too. I don't mind. I've been fortunate, I guess, or unfortunate.
This isn't my best work.
It's not, but you know what? It's moldy up at the top. I mean, it's got some problems.
Honestly, it looks like a mobile home.
I think you're right. I think that's what it is.
Because it's got that slant, the way that slant is over there, and
but that looks like a second floor. The far left picture looks like a second floor to me.
Oh, see, I'm thinking that's like the left side of the mobile home.
But it's so wide, and there's not a distinct line down the middle.
Well, I think it's cutting at the line. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
Could be.
But it just looks like this other one, which is that a kitchen? No, that's a bathroom? I don't know what that is in the middle. But it's also sloping, so I don't know.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's do it. That's pretty awful.
I've listed houses worse than this.
That would be one that I would probably follow your advice and just not put the picture. Or maybe like that one picture, if you just put that one.
The bedroom?
The bedroom? Yeah. Is that a bedroom? I don't know.
It's got a bed in it.
It does have a bed.
Therefore, it's a bed. It's a room with a bed. It's a bedroom.
It's got a window. It's fine. It's a bedroom.
Doesn't it have to have a closet too?
No.
Oh.
Nope. You do not have to have a closet to be a bedroom. You have to have an egress.
Yeah.
Egress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then enough septic space.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All right. Now we know.
All right. I'm nervous, man.
Flip it.
All right.
Flip it on him.
So you're representing the buyer.
Okay.
You've made your offer. Turned out it was multiple offers because this was in that first week. Bought the house at asking price, even in multiple offers. Get the inspection back. The roof's got about 2 years left on it. HVAC's pretty much shot. Moisture in the crawl space. Your buyers want at least $15,000 to cover the repairs. Seller says, we've got this other offer sitting here. We don't want to do anything. What's your next negotiation tactic?
Obviously, I'm going to talk to my clients first, right? I am of the mindset that I'm number one, I will have already hopefully shared the inspection results, right? This is going to come, classic line, right? This is going to come up in every inspection. You know what I mean? And I'm going to ask my clients, I'm just going to be real straightforward with them. There is a distinct possibility that if we push hard on this, we're going to lose the deal. However, there's also a distinct possibility that if you get this house, you're going to be dealing with at least these 3 items, right? Let's pretend that that's the only 3 on the inspection, okay? There's those 3 big ones. There's probably other things as well, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to at least be dealing with these soon. So, A, do you like the house enough that you're willing to close and then deal with these, right? That's question 1. And I can't answer that for them. Question 2 is, do you have the ability to deal with these, a year from now or 6 months from now or whatever? If the answer to that question is no, well, then this is a pretty easy conversation. We do not have the ability to deal with that. Okay. Then I'm going to go push as hard as I can on that other agent. And I'm going to use the tactic of this is going to come up in any inspection, right? They're going to say, we have this other offer. I'm going to say, yes, but you selected ours. So obviously something about our offer is better than the other one, right? So think on that for a second. We have the ability to close, right? I'm going to make sure Brian, it's probably going to be Brian as the lender, right? I'll make sure Brian has also been in conversation with that listing agent and kept them up to, and he has, because he always does. We could close in 14 days or 12 days or 10 days or whatever. So that's an incentive, right? If you'll just do this, we'll be out of your hair type situation. But then ultimately, man, I need to prepare my buyers that if they have to have this work done, then that means that there's a decent possibility that we're going to have to call their bluff.
Yeah.
And so we're just going to have that conversation with the listing agent and just say, look, your client has neglected these 3 items. They knew it. They knew it, right? Or at least they had an idea of it, So if you got to move on to that other offer, move on to the other offer.
Yeah.
Now, if it was one of those situations where it was hot and heavy, and that I'll, we lay it out kind of like a chess match, right? It was hot and heavy. There was 2 offers. Maybe there was 3 offers, whatever, multiple offer situation. We got in there. We won, 5-6 days have passed, right? That person lost. They weren't expecting to lose. The other offer was not expecting to lose. Mm-hmm. So the natural reaction at that point, they're either going to completely pull out of the market because it scared them that they were in a multiple offer situation, or they're going to be so angry that they lost that they immediately go grab something else.
Right.
So there's a decent possibility that offer is not on the table
anymore. That's kind of
there's a really good possibility of that, and they're bluffing or they don't know.
Right.
And so when I call that bluff, it may be a non-starter.
Right.
There's a really good possibility of that.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I would always say. In any negotiation, I always have one rule with my folks that I try to go through at the beginning is, we're gonna fight as hard. I will fight as hard as you want. You tell me what you're willing to do for your end goal, and and that'll be our stopping point. But I always set a rule is like we're never the one to send the earnest money release form.
Oh no, 100%.
We make them do it. Like they come back, we come back. They come back, we come back. And we may not change anything that we come back with, but I will hold them to the fire as long as you keep your emotions in check and don't get mad and walk away, right? And we'll get to where we
love it,
where we want to get.
That's gold.
We are
That's
non-emotional. We make them be the ones to walk away. I may send them the same counter 5 times that hadn't changed if that's what you want. If that's your stopping point.
Yeah.
But we don't ever get emotional. We let them be the ones to walk away, because if they are bluffing, then they'll show it at some point.
That's right.
So.
And my favorite tool, I'm probably a little bit different, and this is probably not, maybe it's old school and I probably shouldn't do it this way, but this is just how I do it. I love to negotiate on the phone.
Yeah.
I don't like sending back and forth paper. And it is because I do get somebody else to get emotional a lot of times.
Yeah.
Right. And my favorite thing, y'all, if you know me at all, you know that I talk nonstop, right? I'm a loud mouth. Okay. My best tool in my arsenal is silence.
Yeah.
And so when you tell me my clients are thinking about blah, 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 counter, and I go, oh,
yeah. Make them fill the space. No, that's good.
It's
and I am that way. When I say
uncomfortable.
send something, I never. I guess it's my old Gen Xer in me. I am not a texter through negotiations.
No,
we need to talk.
Or document in email, one or the other.
One or the other. Well, yeah, I'll document the conversation after the fact, right, and say, hey, just
that's what I'm saying. But we're not texting.
We're not texting back and forth. We're gonna because there's just so much that you can learn through their tone and what they're, and learn about who you're dealing with,
and not even and sometimes they'll tip motivation, and it helps both parties.
Yeah.
Right. So if I said, here's my counter, blah 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 blah, and you said, well, then I know that there's at least some legs on that.
Right.
Right. So maybe I can immediately kind of, and I have to get permission to work on behalf of my clients, right, within some parameters. But maybe I countered you and I said, not 10,000 in closing, 5,000 in closing, but we'll do this in price. And we're close, but what you really need is the 10,000 in closing, but you're willing to pay a little bit higher price.
Yeah.
Well, the net result is the same, right? Yeah. For a seller side, So in that situation, it's like, okay, well, can we manipulate the numbers, get the same net result,
and get where we need to be? So I did have another way I was thinking about asking that question, because I think it may even be more challenging from the other way. So let's say you represent the seller in that exact same scenario. You've got a backup offer in your hand, but it's $475 versus $480, but it's as is. And
they've stated that it's as is?
As is, but here's the kicker. It's a VA loan. Now what do you do?
And I know that the 475 is still good.
Yeah.
And it's VA.
Yeah.
I think we go with the VA.
You think you would hold them to it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And here's why. VA loans, they do have the extra layer with their inspections, right? But they're not a full home inspection. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they don't necessarily have all of the same. It's not a full home inspection.
Right.
So they're going to look at some things and they're going to require some things. Obviously, we're going to have a whole long conversation with the seller on this, right? We'll go through the whole thing. But it's been my experience that we can get VA loans closed if we do some thing on there, right? Now, there is a little bit of a piece of me that's like, do I really want to, but I'm gonna tell them we're gonna have to fully disclose what we've been shown. Right. And if that 475 offer is still in, even if that 475 offer says, well, knowing what we know from what you just disclosed, we're really more like 472 or even 470, we might still look really hard at that.
Yeah.
So, because at that point they're reasonable. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. They're still pretty comparable, but I guess my biggest concern with that and the thing that I've had experience with is VA and crawl spaces. So that moisture and water intrusion in the crawl space.
But that's, of the three things you laid out, that's the easiest one to deal with.
Yeah.
Moisture in a crawl space, honestly, it's a big deal when it's not handled, but it's not really that hard to handle. Typically,
it's not hard to handle. It's just an expense to do it the way, because my experience is they've required a $2,000 to $3,000, $4,000 repair.
It's cheaper than an HVAC or a roof.
Right. But they just asked for the $15,000 flat for it. So it starts leveling out.
Yeah.
And especially when you start dealing with it, you don't know what else the VA appraiser might spring on you.
That's true. And that's where you got to be able to go through the house and identify the things that a VA appraiser is typically going to key in on.
Right.
Now, I've had some stuff out of left field. It was not THGA, but rural development. Some of those are way out of left field sometimes. I had one time. There was a pergola that wasn't even attached to the house, and there was some paint chipping off of it, and they required us to paint the whole daggum pergola.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not even attached to the house. It's a decorative item in the backyard. And that was the condition to get it closed. And I'm like, oh, crying out loud. Okay, fine. And I went over and I don't paint, but I'll scrape paint. So I scraped and the sellers painted it and everything was good. Go. I don't paint. I hate painting.
Well, awesome.
I'd rather have a root canal.
Yeah.
This
is good. We can do this more often.
I kind of dug it.
Yeah, this was really good.
It was a good one.
That was really good.
And I think the takeaway, if you're watching this, every single deal, like I could sit here and dream up all kinds of scenarios that are based on a true story, right?
Right.
But every deal has a layer of nuance. It has subtleties that you've got to take into account and figure out. There's so much psychology involved in it. Mm-hmm. There's, you brought in the VA. That has its whole layer of issues. FHA sometimes does. Mm-hmm. VA does. Rural development does. THGA has their own layer of nuance that goes on that. And an experienced agent has dealt with those scenarios, and also, most importantly, has other agents that they can go to and bounce something off of.
Right.
I don't know everything. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. But Brad knows stuff that I don't know, and he has a different take on things. He has a different spin on things. He has a different bedside manner, if you will. And so I can go to him and be like, man, this is what I think I should do here. This is what I think I should advise my clients. And then he's going to say, yeah, that's good, but don't forget to also mention blank.
Yeah.
Right? Or have you thought about this possible wrinkle?
This reminds me of the conversation talking about that just exact kind of thing we had upstairs in the office probably, 2 months ago maybe, where we were talking about one of the agents had somebody wanting a temporary occupancy before close, and we were bouncing off all the things that we would need from them before.
That's scary.
And it was so informative to be like, yeah, and I would add that. Mm-hmm. And I would add that. And I would make sure it says this, so you're protected from that. So by the time she did it, she had her seller so well protected, number one, but it also, because her seller and her, neither one wanted to do it in the first place.
Right.
But they didn't want to come off as being unreasonable. But by the time they put all their protections in there, the buyer was like, "No, we're good. We'll just wait."
Yeah,
we'll
stay in an Airbnb for a night.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
But at the same time, but they needed to be protected from all because all those things could potentially happen.
Have happened.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Exactly.
And so it's just great to have that environment of people that you can bounce things off of.
Yep. I agree, man. Good stuff. This was good.
Yeah, that was cool.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, man. I'll fill in anytime. So,
Trent, what do we have next? Shiny penny. You got anything good that's happened?
Pro tip.
Oh yeah.
Shiny penny. Which one?
This whole thing was kind of a pro. The pro
the
tip here.
pro tip was the show.
Yeah. So, hire an experienced agent, and I want to throw this out there because it's very important. Experienced agent. That term does not necessarily mean an agent that's done it for 40 years. It could, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. I know agents that have been in the business 4 or 5 years that are vastly experienced, and they're so sharp, and they are able to synthesize everything that they've done for the last 4 or 5 years that they give great, wise advice.
Yeah.
Right?
Or they put themselves in, like I always told, I did it when I was new, and I tell people all the time, I'm like, you need to either be in the office or find you a place like the office where you're just inundated with it, and don't go sit in a corner at the office. Sit in the break room.
At least
listen and listen to everybody. I learned so
Ask
much
questions.
listening to people talk.
Yeah.
I learned so much what not to do because everybody was coming in talking about their deal was falling apart because of this and this. This is messed up. That agent did this. This agent did like just osmosis for the first year of just sitting down there working on my computer where everybody's coming into the copier and the thing. But get in a spot where you can actually learn through that. Like that was so much more beneficial than I got to learn from transactions that I wasn't a part of.
That's it.
And that was a good thing.
That's one of my stumps and has been for a long time. Time in the industry does not equate to competency, right? It's only doing the transactions and surrounding yourself and putting yourself where you can learn from what's actually happening right now. That's what equates to competency.
Yeah, because you've got people that have been doing it for 20 years that don't do any, they do 2 transactions a year and they keep their license up and they're not current on it. I mean, like that's a.
And look, I'm not running them down necessarily, but if you get into a sticky, weird situation, you better hope that agent has some other agents around them that they're willing to go to and say, hey, something weird's happening. I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah.
And a lot of transactions are vanilla.
Well,
it's okay. But a whole bunch of them aren't.
Some of the mistakes you see, like I've had 2 transactions this year where we were sale a home contingent. We had gotten another offer in on our home and we're sending them the demand, call it a demand letter for lack of a better term. Like hey, you've either got to waive this contingency.
Put up or shut up.
Put up or shut up. 2 times. And one of them was really bad because the girl, first of all, the girl got mad because that we took this other offer. She's like, I thought I'm like, no, we had a right to continue marketing. Like, so she kind of stopped communicating. She had a noon deadline. I didn't hear from her. I got the form from her at 11:55, and it said we are stepping away. We are not waiving our contingency. So I'm like, cool. We call my other people, accept the other offer. She sends me a text like 2 or 3 o'clock and said, hey, just wanted to make sure you got that form. I said, yeah, we got it. I said, I'm working on getting this other contract secured and we'll get your earnest money release to you. And she's like, earnest money release? She's like, we were waiving our contingency. I was like, that's not what you marked on the form. And it's like, so just check the brown box on the form and their people didn't get their house. Yeah. And she's like, there's got to be something we can do. And I'm like, we're under contract. You and I are not under contract.
Like, yeah, I'll tell you what you need to do, my friend. You need to contact your E&O insurance. Yeah. That's what you need to do.
I think it ended up being a happy story. They were some of these meant to be people and decided it wasn't meant to be since they didn't get it. And blah, blah, blah,
she got lucky then.
She got very lucky. But I had another one that the same thing, only the opposite. They wanted to say they were waiving it and step out. And they marked that they were staying in the contract and waiving their contingency.
Dude, it's literally a checkbox. and it is not hard language.
But let me tell you what, at least the better part about this one was at least she was in communication and had said, hey, we're gonna step away from this and, just want to let you know I'll get the form to you. So when she got it, I picked up the phone and said, hey, I thought you said you were walking away from this. And she said, oh, we are. And I was like, we checked the wrong box. And she sent the right form. And if that other first girl had done that, instead of going silent and said, hey, we're going to stay in this, and she had sent me the form wrong, I wouldn't have screwed her over and been like, hey, sorry, you signed the wrong form. I would have said, hey, you know.
Because ultimately, you don't want to blow the deal up.
You don't want to blow the deal up. That's not what you're trying to do.
Jeez.
But like, she just was angry and went like radio silent, and then messed up. Like two big no-nos. Number one, never go radio silent, right? Always talk and be, no matter, don't let your emotions, just stay in communication. And two, check the right box. And three, if you're a buyer or seller, I don't know what camera we're looking at, but like also read the forms, because the buyer and the seller should have also read what they were signing and seen that what they were agreeing to. So don't just take a form from your agent with a box checked and sign it without reading it, because that should have been that was
well. And you're talking about the notification form. It's not a difficult form.
Yeah. Oh, this isn't even the notification form. This is that specialized. This is all this form is.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's also isn't it on the special.
It is on the. There is a thing on the notification, but there is one just.
But it's very plain language. Like, this is not super contractual lawyer speak. Like, it is very straightforward.
Yeah, I waive the contingency and wish to continue with the purchase. I do not wish to waive the contingency and do not wish to continue with the purchase. That's what it says.
It's very simple. Yeah.
Wow. And so yeah, it was kind of wild. But that one, I was like, I felt so bad. I was like, oh my God, your clients are gonna kill you. You know. But I mean, at the same time, the client's fault too. Like they also clicked and signed and read, and, you know. But it's wild out there.
Reading.
All right, so there's your pro tip. Shiny Penny, you got anything cool that's happened?
Oh man, gosh, you know, I feel like I've been walking between the raindrops, so everything's pretty good these days.
That's
Awesome.
great.
Yeah. I am going to publish that somewhere. I'll give you credit. I'll dash Brad
Well, I don't
Hopkins.
think I get credit for that. Nothing I say
That's where I heard it from. So yeah,
that whole thing about not walking away from this deal, that's a ninja thing. That's not me either. Like, I don't get credit for any of that.
I got you.
No. Hey, we're frying turkeys. This is a good place to do that. We fry turkeys for Kamari House. Me and my buddy Chase, and any volunteers that want to come help, we'll do.
Where are you doing that this year?
We'll be at the alley. Turkeys are $75. All the proceeds go to Kamari House again. Good way to be lazy and not have to cook a turkey for you guys, and also help out a cause at the same time. I've heard they're really good. I personally think they're really good. And,
I was going to say, you haven't eaten one?
I do. I will say, after 65 of them, though, Thanksgiving Day, by the time I get home for Thanksgiving dinner,
The last thing you want is a turkey.
Yeah, I'm kind of like,
you're like, where's the ham? Yeah, exactly.
No, but yeah, no, it's a fun day. It's been a fun event.
And Kamari House is such a great organization. If you're not familiar with what they do, look them up. They do some really cool work here in our community. And in fact, Brian's group, the Jay Whitty and the Christmas Cowboys, their benefit show this year is also benefiting Kamari House.
That's awesome.
So very excited about that. That's coming up. I don't remember the date. Sorry, it's beginning of December. One of those dates. I'll be there. I just don't remember what. It's in my calendar. That's all that matters. So that's pretty exciting. And then we're doing our Pies and Pints.
Pies and Pints, November 25th.
Yep, right here at Cedar Glade. It's going to be awesome. So we'll talk more about that. As far as Cedar Glade goes, there's a couple of events I did want to plug. We got Black Friday. We'll be open at 6 a.m. We're going to do beer specials all day long. We got some swag specials as well. And we're doing a barrel beer release on that day. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then music in the evening. But the big one, our Procrastinators Craft Fair. Have I told you about this?
No.
Yeah. So it's our 4th annual Procrastinators Craft Fair. Our tagline for it is "Friends don't let friends buy crap at Walgreens." And so it is on Christmas Eve,
oh, nice.
5 to 8. We've got 9 vendors signed up so far. Some cool stuff that you can get those last minute gifts. If you are interested in being a vendor at that, give me a shout. And we kind of curate that a little bit. You know, we don't have 5 of the same thing in the room, and it's very cheap. If you are a craft fair regular, you have a booth at craft fairs often, they can get very pricey, and ours is not. Ours is very, very reasonable for someone. So if that's something you're interested in, if you want to come and fry turkeys on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I think I'll be done by then.
Do you have something? Jessy's got something.
Yeah.
Don't forget New Year's Eve for Nourish Food Bank. Tickets are only $75 this year. We celebrate in 3 time zones. So if you want to be in your PJs at midnight, celebrate in Puerto Rico, New York, and go home.
There you go.
All
There you go.
right,
Where is it? Is it Walnut House?
At Walnut House.
At Walnut House. Yeah, she does such a great job putting that on. It's gonna be a fun event. So, Trent, you got anything?
Nah, I don't. Fourth Friday's coming up again on the fourth Friday.
That's an awesome place to put it, man.
Yeah, it's on fourth.
I mean, that's where I would put it. Yeah.
I don't even know what that is this month, but it'll be a good one to come through.
Just pull up the calendar and count 1, 2. You only need one hand, even. Well, most people do.
Wait, the 28th.
Cinco de Mayo is on the 5th this year, too.
Yeah. Christmas on the 25th of December again? Yeah.
July 4th is on what day?
Yeah, it's funny.
I'll tell you a funny story about that off air. I can't say it on.
Okay, I can't wait. All right, that's it.
Good stuff, y'all. That was fun. Miss you, Brian. We'll see you when you get back.
I don't know. We might
Did
just
we miss
replace
Brian?
him. I don't know if we do or not.
We just need a third wheel in here now.
We did miss Brian.
All right. Y'all have a good week.
All right.
Thank you for listening to another episode of This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Brian Nail, your go-to resource for all things real estate in Middle Tennessee. Be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. We will see y'all on the next one.
Now for the nitty-gritty. Premise Mortgage Company is a subsidiary of Premise Bank, a member FDIC. Premise Mortgage NMLS number 1894879, BK number 1042893, ML number 1894879. As always, all loans are subject to credit approval and product guidelines. Equal housing lender.